Today, we discuss a very serious topic for the new year, and that's cybersecurity. For real though, pay attention on this one. Tune in. What is the deal, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of That's the Lifestyles. My name is Ramon.
It's your boy, Kicks Guard, back in the building.
Yes, sir. Happy New Year 2021.
Curse you 2020.
First episode for the new year. I watched that Death of 2020 like you recommended on Netflix. It was pretty funny.
So it's just hilarious.
Yeah, Hugh Grant did the damn thing.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is I didn't even really realize that was Hugh Grant until I checked the credits and then looked back. I was like, wait, that's Hugh Grant.
My wife was like, yeah, that's Hugh Grant. I was like, what? No way. Yeah. I must have seen all of his movies. I'm a big rom-com guy, so you know.
Mm-hmm. And Hugh Grant does a lot of voiceover for he did voiceover for something. And I at first I wanted to say it was for some sort of Avengers level movie.
Okay.
But then I was wrong. That wasn't Hugh Grant. Or was it? Ultron? Was Ultron Hugh Grant?
I don't know. I could see it though. I could see it.
Fuck fact checking it. I'm going with Hugh Grant was Ultron.
It's a feeling, baby.
Comment in the comment section and let us know.
So for 2021, we're hoping everything is much better than the 2020
for sure.
But we're starting it off on what I believe to be a serious topic for so many people, even in my inner circles, in my acquaintances circles, and just in general. Security. You know what I mean? Like cybersecurity.
Not just for your home, sir.
Nah, we not talking ADT shotgun in the entranceway security. We're talking on your devices, in your internet life, your cyber life. You know, I feel like a lot of people don't really understand that this is a serious deal.
No. I believe the general consensus when it comes to anything cyber and anything internet is, there is some mysterious hand that keeps things from touching this my information. So as long as this mysterious hand has continued to safeguard my life, everything is fine. And that couldn't be more incorrect or more false or more wrong.
Yeah, that'll get you got.
Oh yeah, real quick.
What I've noticed, as you know, I've been an IT professional for I think it's about 20 years at this point. Your boy's getting old.
Yeah, you are.
We put a lot of stop gates in front of users to not only protect them, but to change their behavior, right? Simple things like every 90 days, passwords need to be changed.
Yes.
And anyone that's worked in an office or whatever it is, you're well familiar with this pain in the ass because you feel like there's so many different systems you have to go into to do your job. And for every system, there's a password. And like, I get it, but it's about understanding understanding the catastrophe that could happen if this wasn't so.
Absolutely.
And I feel like most people kind of get it in the workplace, but when they go home, their passwords is password 123, right? I don't have the mental capacity to have a complex password. I deal with that shit all day, and I
don't want to have to remember it.
Right. I get it. But changing the behavior, because there's no IT professional in your personal life to really drive through these procedural, this methodical way of thinking about security. I think it's important to have an awareness of really what's at stake. If you look at your professional life versus your personal life, if there's a breach at work, that kind of sucks. But it's kind of not your problem. That's the IT, the IT manager's problem, IT department's problem. It's the business problem. It may impact you for sure, because depending on how you look at a breach like Target, took a hit on the stock price, it took a hit on directly on the employees, but it may not always get that big. But when you're talking cybersecurity in your personal life, think of the outcome. It really could be a catastrophe for you. You know what I mean? Like it's not until somebody empties your bank account, like you don't have money to put gas in the car to get to work. You know what I mean? Like you don't have money to buy food to feed the kids. So these things are, or somebody may get into your Twitter account and post the wildest shit, and there's reputation damaging, and something your employer could see, and now you're in hot water. Like there's a lot at risk personally, enough for, I think, people to be taking this very seriously. So I have a few angles of attack here, and let me put my disclaimer up. Because I'm an IT professional don't mean I'm a security pro. Number one, security is a whole nother genre of IT. So
sell yourself, son. Sell yourself.
I know. Shit. I know enough to make sure shit is aight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give that. I'm gonna give that to the people. But also,
and I'm the one that'll put hands and feet on anybody trying the funny stuff. Carry on, sir.
But then there's also, the heart doctor or the lung surgeon's like, hey, you better stop smoking. Meanwhile, he's outside hitting that Newport. So, there's some of these practices that I could do better myself. But I think the first step is awareness. Number one is passwords. Number one is passwords, and it's such a silly thing. You should never use mundane the same password twice.
I listen. Disclaimer: I fall under that spectrum. I'm not going to disclose my password. However, it is the curse of me. However, I understand when people say, yo, I am not taking the time out to learn a password for everything is password related. Everything. Yep. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, your bank account, your banking app, your camera system in your house. Everything is password based. So it's like there is short of putting every password in your phone in an app that is also, well, actually no, because unless a person gets has your picture or can hack your iPhone, there wouldn't be any real way of getting that. However, it is still, I'd have to put all the passwords in.
We'll get into that.
A note.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, let me go back to this to find out the password. It's real out there when it comes to passwords. Carry on.
But son. You're not far off. And I get it, right? Because there's always this tug of war between securing your fort and remembering your fucking password.
Son,
right? So we get
son.
into this thing where like you may have a password, but for like your Twitter has password 1. And then your Facebook has password 12. And then your Instagram is password 123. So it's like a variation of the same password. And I get it because you need to be able to know what this password is.
Yes.
But if you make it something like passcode to secure the clouds 39 ! Hashtag, like you'll never remember that. Or maybe you will. I don't know. But it's not an easy thing. However, I have some steps following this, but it's very important to make sure that you do not reuse the same password. Your password for your Facebook should be totally different from the password for your Twitter, which should be totally different from the password for your bank account, which should be totally different from the password for your iTunes. It all, and we're not talking variations of it, completely different. It needs to be completely different. Now, Tawann mentioned something that I used to advise. You know, we're big OneNote fans around here. And OneNote is Microsoft's note-taking application. For years, I've had all my passwords in OneNote. And that OneNote page that had the passwords, it was password locked. Right. And that was a simple password. I wasn't worried about it because it was hidden behind the password for my Windows Live account. And then there was another password. Two-stage. Right. Kind of two-stage. It's not a real thing, but like, we'll get into that. So at the very least, you need to diversify your passwords and keep them written down somewhere. Where? Anytime you put anything on the computer, if that thing is connected to the internet, you should consider that it is vulnerable. You can got. So then a notepad isn't exactly the best way to handle that. But do you want to keep a black book somewhere in the house where only you know about it? What if your house burns down? There goes your passwords. What if somebody breaks into your house? There goes your password. So it's kind of like, damn, where's a safe place to keep your passwords? I recommend something like LastPass. LastPass is a password manager. And these password managers, they do a great job at offering ease of use for a very complex solution. So what LastPass does, you install LastPass on your phone, you install LastPass on your computer, and you install LastPass on all of your browsers that you use to browse the internet. And essentially how LastPass works, like let's say Facebook, for instance, you sign into LastPass, you get that one master password and all of your passwords are then stored in there. So the first time you go to log into Facebook on a browser where LastPass is running, it says, hey, I see you just signed in. Would you like me to store that password for you? And you click yes. That's it. You never need to remember that password again. But what if you're on your phone? So, you know, on the iPhone, you've got the keychain, the Apple keychain. Right. It essentially replaces that with LastPass.
Got it.
And the reason you want to do that is Apple's keychain is locked into Apple's ecosystem. So it wouldn't work for me on my Windows PC or an Android tablet or an Android phone. But LastPass is pretty much agnostic. So it works on all of these. It works on iOS. It works on Mac OS, Windows 10, Android, Firefox, Chrome. It's everywhere I am. There's my LastPass. So you start to build up this wallet, so to speak, with all your passwords. And as you need the passwords, you never really have to go into the app and type in Facebook, view password, copy, paste. You can do it, but it's engineered in such a way that when you get to the password requirement field and username, it automatically populates it for you. Kind of like the safe password systems.
Yeah.
Now, going back to the first point of making your password complex, LastPass has, and all the other, I forget the name, but there's like 2 or 3 other competitors out there that that do this password manager thing. They can create complex passwords for you. They generate it on the fly. So you say, I need something that's 16 characters long, and it has special characters and it has cap characters. And you get this random ass string. And then you say, that's my Facebook password. Right. And it's not something that, because how hackers work, right? They'll get your password however they get it. And we'll talk about that a bit later. And your password happens to be KicksGod 1.
Hey.
Well, now that they figured that out, they're going to run that through a brute force attack method, and the computer's going to try every single variation of that. Kicks God 1, 2, kicks God 1, 2, 3, kicks God with a capital K, kicks God with a capital K 1, 2, 3. And eventually they might actually guess it. Right? That's just the nature of how this goes. But when you have a randomly generated string of 16 characters, uppercase, lowercase, numbers, symbols, like, fam, they ain't, you in there. You know what I mean? Like, you're secure.
So one thing, if I may add, when you generate a password, this is just for the person getting on saying, okay, this password isn't strong enough, I need to add a special character to it. Adding a $ to your password is probably one of the worst things you can do, because the average person uses the $sign for their password.
Yep. It's
just an
one.
FYI.
The $ and the @ are very popular.
Yep.
So now that you've got this password manager, right? I'm in this place where I actually legitimately don't know my passwords to anything. And that's how it should be. You understand? I don't need to, if I don't know my passwords, you goddamn sure that the bad guys don't know my password.
Yeah.
Now, this means that you need to pay attention, and you need to be vigilant and consistent in using your password manager. But it's something I highly recommend. It's so good, right, that my parents are now using it. Right. My mom has one, and this is, my dad uses hers as well. And this is not something I would recommend. Each person should have their own account. And there is account sharing. Like, if you have one and your wife has one, you can share the Netflix password between both accounts. But for my parents, they're older. You know what I mean? Like, let's not complicate it. Some security is important for me. And it's such a breath of fresh air for my parents, because they don't have to keep, damn, what's the password? What's the password? What's the email account? What's the username? You can even add notes into these passwords accounts. Like, here's the PIN number for this. Because some accounts, like, you know, your AT&T or your bank, they, you know what I mean? Like, they've got the PIN codes. You can add credit card numbers. You can add bank
or your
account
retirement account.
All of these things are in there, and it's behind that protected state. Now, let's take it one step farther. You are still vulnerable, even with a complex password. You're still vulnerable, and what we recommend in the industry is called two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication means you need to provide two pieces of credentials to get into this account. Much like when you go to the DMV, they need two pieces of identification to prove that it is you. Because chances are Mr. Fraudman can probably conjure up one, a fake ass ID, but can he do two? A social security, a birth certificate. Like, this is why I can't say it's 100% secure, but it's one more hoop to jump through that most people won't do. You know what I mean? And
short of having a cloned phone, like that, like, it's like the likelihood of someone being able to have a phone that when you get a text message, it gets a text message, and they're accessing whatever. I mean, probable, but not likely.
Right. And we're talking security. So probable and not likely are both actionable. You understand? Because you never want to be in a position where the bank account is empty and you're like, holy shit, that wasn't likely to happen.
Right. Absolutely.
You get what I mean? Like, no, this is the point of it. So the way two-factor authentication works, and I'm pretty sure everyone has dealt with this in the past. You go to log into your bank you just got a new computer. You fired it up and you want to check your bank statement. You hit up the website, you log in, and it says, hang on here, fam. I've never seen this computer before.
Right.
I'm going to send a text message. And when you get that code, if this really is you, tell me that code and then I'll let you in. So the bank sends you a text
with the code.
And you put it in and then it says, oh, okay, have at it. It's you. iTunes, anytime you add a new phone or iPad or whatever, it pops up a notification on one of your current devices and says, yo, we picked something up coming from Brooklyn. Is that you? Yeah, that's me. Trust. Okay. That's two-factor. Google does it as well.
Google does it. Microsoft is.
Everybody
might
does
be
it.
The better way.
Now, the better way to do two-factor authentication is with an app. And we're talking an app like Microsoft Authenticator or Google Authenticator. I use both. Now, how this works is when you log in to your account, whatever that is, and two-factor is enabled, you need to go into the Authenticator app and it's generating a random 6-digit code on a minute-by-minute basis.
Yeah.
So you log in, you take that code and then you type it into the system and boom, now you're in. This is all super complex in the background. You don't need to know the way the token access works and all of that encrypted. Forget all of that. All you need to know is to use the shit. And the reason the app authentication is the best method is because SIM jacking is a real thing. So what SIM jacking is, somebody they get close enough to you to sort of swipe the SIM card in your phone. They can now have your text messages routed on their phone, whatever.
Hold on, Ramon, but before we go any further, understand, SIM jacking, they're not literally taking your phone out of your pocket and taking your SIM card. It's a device that's used that basically when I spoke of cloning, it just basically takes it mimics your SIM on another SIM.
Yep.
For the long and short. And now once the information is embedded or implanted in this new SIM, now it's like there's like I have my phone and they have another phone, iPhone or Google phone with essentially an identical SIM card attached to the phone. And they never even touched your phone to get the information. That's SIM jacking.
So let's go down that route just to show you how real this is.
Or SIM cloning.
Because of the way the cell phone networks work, you can't have a SIM, the same SIM, or I'm sorry, you can't have two SIMs reporting
on the same network.
one phone number on the same network.
Yes.
So a good way to know if you've been SIM jacked is your phone just doesn't have service.
Yes,
because
it'll just stop working.
What happens is the bad guys who now control your SIM gets to authenticate to the cell phone towers and saying, no, this is the active phone. And the cell phone tower is none the wiser. And then here we go. Now, where this gets scary is there's so many instances where now that they've got your phone, they can call up like T-Mobile. They're an easy one because T-Mobile is known to be very customer forward or customer facing, customer friendly. So Ramon just SIM jacked Tawann's phone. Now I've got a phone that's pretending to be Tawann.
My phone. Right.
Tawann doesn't notice that his phone is disconnected. Fuck, my phone's acting up. Damn it. I got to take this to Apple. I got to do that after work. So I got a few hours to play here. Now Ramon, call up T-Mobile and say, hey, I forgot the password to my account. T-Mobile says, okay, well, we're going to send you a text message so you can prove that it's you and reset that password. Okay, boom, boom. Now they have access to your T-Mobile account. Okay, big deal. What do they do from there? Now they know your email address.
Mm-hmm.
Now they can start targeting your email address. And these hackers all have a list of emails, which I'll get into later, that's been breached at one point or another, or they could try to brute force attack it. And let's say, because it has happened, I have read of these stories, they do get a hold of your email and they change the password to your Gmail. You are up shit's creek because they have your phone and they have your email. They are you. From there, Now they can go into your bank accounts. Now they can reset passwords to your bank accounts. Now they can transfer money out of your bank accounts to their account.
Right. Because the way Apple works is once they have one email account, essentially the common practice, because again, we are slaves to common practice, is, well, the email address that we got is tied to your AT&T or your T-Mobile account has to be tied to your Apple ID. And what happens? So now they have access to your email account. So they're looking for things that you frequent, and they're going in two-factoring, because and getting the code that gets sent to would be sent to your phone.
Yep.
And
or email.
And they're authenticating everything that you would typically authenticate, but they're the bad guys that have your information.
Yep.
Well, Ramon, you go on, because I just want to go into how scary it is.
It's easy to get got. So this is a great example of why a text message, although it is a form of security, is still very vulnerable. And you can still get got even with that quote unquote two-factor authentication using text message. So a lot of industry experts don't regard text message as true two-factor authentication. So let's say the same scenario plays out. You got SIM jacked, but they went to go into your your Gmail account. They can't get in because your Gmail account has a real two-factor authentication with an app that they don't have access to. Now, this conversation exposes how fragile our infrastructure is. Banks don't offer app two-factor authentication, which is a problem. The only form of authentication banks offer, as far as my knowledge and even my banks, is the text message. Right? They don't.
They text you. They'll text you, email you, or call you.
Right. And what good is either of those if you've already been got?
Right. If all they needed was your phone.
So
that's the hardest part.
We're building a solid foundation here. Get you a password manager that houses all of your passwords. And what that allows you to do is do wild, complex, random passwords. And you don't need to worry about ever having to remember those. Then you get two-factor authentications for all of your accounts that support two-factor authentication. That way, you don't have to worry about fuckboy completely ruining your life. Facebook supports it. Instagram supports it. Twitter, all social media platforms support two-factor authentication. A lot of other sites supports it. A lot of your work site supports it. For people who work from home, you may already be familiar with this because a lot of companies require two-factor authentication for their corporate email for people who work from home.
Right.
Then they may see it as a pain in the ass because every time they go to sign in the morning, they got to open this app and blah, blah, blah. So it's a great way to just avoid the headaches. Yeah. Now, the last part before you take us out of how scary it can get. The last part is to know if you have been affected. So there's a site out there that I've used for years. It's called haveibeenpwned.com. That's haveibeenpwned.com. You go to this site and you put in your email address. And this site keeps a database of known hacked databases from the way back in the internet days. and it'll let you know your email was associated to a company that's been hacked. So for instance, you go in there, you put in, my email address. It'll say, yeah, fam, you got a Target account with this email. They've been hacked. You got a Foot Locker. They've been hacked. And there's a ton of things like, and every 6 months or so, I go to this site to check to make sure, because there's no way I'm not keeping up on who's been hacked. Right.
But you need to keep up with who, if you've been hacked.
Right. Now, why this is important. Remember what I said in the beginning. If you're that person who used the same password for every site, you better believe your password is out there on the internet and people are trying it. Because if it worked over here, let me try it on this, let me try it on that. And it is successful. This shit happens all day, every day. So once you go to haveibeenpwned.com and you see it come up for such and such, then you need to go back to that site and change that password. Now, if you've already been using LastPass and you've generated some wild, crazy string of passwords, you should be less worried because that password only applies to that site. So I'll just go in and generate another one and replace it. Right. So that's a good, now you're seeing where the foundation gives you a lot of leeway and you're less worried about things, but you should go back in there, whatever haveibeenpwned.com is reporting, take the time, go to each of those sites, either close your account or change the password.
Yeah. That's about the long and short of it. Like you can't, if you're not at, like a lot of people's, it reminds me of the air fryer commercial, set it and forget it. It's like, it was this rotisserie thing. And you put the chicken on the rotisserie and you set the time and then you forget it. Why are you forgetting it? Because it's going to cook itself. Yep. So when you apply that to what we're talking about today, or right now, is you essentially open up an account with a said website. So your feelings are, well, it's all going to be the same email address because why would I have 1,000,001 email addresses, right? So, such and such at gmail.com. Cool. Now, I need to construct a password. Well, to the average user, it has to be something that I'm going to be able to remember. Again, listen, all I'm doing is just, right now is just, cause there are a lot of people that hear us ramble and can't quite quantify what it is that you're saying.
They can't connect.
Or you can't, cause they're disconnected because they feel like they're not in that world.
It doesn't apply
to them. So I'm going to bring you to, I'm going to bring you to the world. All right. That you're already in. So now you're on such and such's website. You already know what email address you're going to use because you pretty much only have one. And now you're going to construct a password. Now, it's highly likely and very common that the password that you use for generally every other email or password essential website would be the same or something loosely close to it. So let's say you put sunny day. And listen, I don't know anyone's password, and these aren't my passwords, so don't fucking try. Or Ramon's. Sunny day 21. So sunny day 21 is your password. Doesn't have a special letter. It doesn't have a special symbol. It's just sunny day 21. All right. So now, that password is already not strong enough to prevent hacking. So now here's where I bring it to your world. I'd say about 40%, maybe a greater number of people work from home now. right?
Yeah, there's a good number of people working from home. Yeah.
So, we all know that the infrastructure for your typical business is hackable, but it's usually a pretty rock solid. Like, by comparison, your home infrastructure to your business infrastructure, whatever business you work at, would obviously be much stronger at your business than your home.
Providing your IT department is worth a shit, but yes.
Absolutely. So we all deal with a router, a modem. In 90% of people, like myself, don't have a modem. It's just a router. And the router doubles as a modem, which is, suspect at best. And we voice our concerns with Verizon. Whereas a business would have a help desk, they have firewalls in place, they have a bunch of different blocks set up to prevent breaches. Now, remember I said about 45% of the people everywhere I go, my own COBA that works for the Department of Correction, our company who protects our officers are working from home now. Nicers working from home. Everyone working from home. So now these are critical entities that are now working from home, from routers, not modems, not firewalls, nothing set up to be preventative for a person from that is doing malicious things that will want to gain access. We are now incredibly vulnerable. Our infrastructures are incredibly vulnerable because a larger number of people are working from home that don't have these fundamental blockades set up like a business.
We call them control points.
So now you have so many people working from home. You have customer service generally working from home. You have the government, a large number of them working from home. Government entities working from home. My own, well, I'm retired now, but my own help desk, most of them work from home now. Mm-hmm. So everyone is working from home, and cyber, I would call it cyber bullies, these cyber hackers. They're like, it's a friggin' free for all.
Yep. Home networks. I got some tips on home networks actually in the docket. So it's funny you took us that direction.
So this is the real world that we all live in now, that unbeknownst to, listen, I understand. I am not the corporate, everything is so straightforward. Everything is set up. Everything is structured. You have to go through this to do that, and you have to jump through your hurdles just to cut your computer on, guy. I cut my computer on and I go, but I guarantee you, Macy's infrastructure should be much more protected than my infrastructure is, because I have no infrastructure.
Right.
All right. All I have is a router.
It can be good enough. So we'll
it could be.
Let's tackle that. Let's tackle that. So speaking of what you're getting at, I would put in the conversation of securing your home network.
Right.
Now, most people at home don't run anything crazy. Like you said, you're running the router and modem in one that your internet service provider gave you. And oftentimes, whatever, it can be enough.
But generally they suck ass.
Yeah, you got to think, for them to give you a device for free, subsidized, Some of them even make you pay for it. But that device is the bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as full featured as something that you would go pick up off the shelf at your Best Buy or Target or Walmart. However, a lot of the quote unquote full featured things of these routers, I would argue, are overkill for most people.
Mm-hmm.
So are we hiding the security features behind, are we hiding the security must-haves behind features? It's an interesting thing. However, there are a few things you can do to secure your home network as much as possible.
Don't visit the porn site as much.
Well, I mean, yeah, you gotta, you gotta do what you do. So you have, whether you have a router / modem that was given to you by your provider, or you went and bought a cheap router, a balls to the wall router, whatever it is, there are some things that you need to know. Number one, going back to password, do not keep the default password for your router. I don't care who you got it from. Change that default password. The too long didn't read behind it is your IP address is public. The IP address is your identifier on the internet, and that's what's given to you by your service provider. It's public and people can find it if they want to. Any website you go to, you leave a footprint of your IP. So if there are any bad people out there skimming traffic to see who's coming here, who's coming there, they can get it. And once they have your IP address, they can get to your device. And all routers, switches, modems, they all have default passwords from the factory. And if you don't change it, somebody can and will get in there and do some fuck shit. All right. And doing some fuck shit means once they have access to your device, they can start to analyze your traffic. They can start to de-encrypt your traffic. So you think you're typing in your password to Facebook. Facebook's not the only one receiving that information. The hackers now know what your password is, and on it goes. Change the default password. The second thing is consider a guest Wi-Fi. Right? What a guest Wi-Fi does is on your network, everything that you plug into your router can see each other. Your smart TV can see your lights. Your lights can see your computer can see your laptop can see your phone, on and on it goes. When you have someone come over to the house, particularly some questionable characters or maybe some teenagers, because you can't trust teenagers, don't put them on the network with all your other shit. Put them on the guest Wi-Fi. And what the guest Wi-Fi does is it's its own, we in the industry call it a VLAN, a virtual LAN or virtual network. And it sort of separates your real network with everything else on it from that guest network. So they can access the internet. They just can't access any of your stuff. That's an extra stopgap, an extra measure of security. What you can also think about is actually creating VLANs if your router supports this. And what this does is there's a very big issue right now with IoT devices, what we call Internet of Things devices. Now, the average person may think of it or may know it as smart devices, right? Your Alexa, your smart lights, your smart TV. These devices, as particularly cheap smart lights and cheap smart plugs and TVs, Samsungs and all of this, they report back to shit in China. So if you're on that patriotic shit, you should know that your devices are reporting back to whomever in China. They are reporting back to these random sources. You have no idea. Maybe you don't want that. Maybe you don't trust that on your network. So you would create a virtual network alongside your real one to say, hey, all of these IoT devices that I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Yes, I need them to get access to the internet, but I don't need them to see my computer because I can't trust them. So you create a virtual line where they can't cross, right? That's another rabbit hole to investigate. You can do things like turn off the Wi-Fi sharing from your ISP. So it's popular with Optimum. It's popular with Comcast. If you have a Comcast account and you log into your phone, you could completely leave the state. And as long as you're in an area where other people have a Comcast account, you have Wi-Fi. Excuse me. Optimum calls it Optimum Wi-Fi, right? So essentially what's happening here is these ISPs are having this generic logon. And no matter where a person goes, they're authenticating to my router to access the internet. No. Fuck out of here.
Hell no.
I'm not with that. Now, the ISPs will tell you, don't worry about it. It's separated of VLAN, right? What they're doing is separate than what I'm doing. I don't trust it because if jackass number one rolls up and does some shit he ain't supposed to be doing and gets fingered by the FBI doing some child pornography shit, I gotta believe they're gonna come knocking on my door.
Right.
And now I gotta, from jail, start walking this problem backwards. Yo, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. You gotta call Optimum. You gotta trace that traffic. You gotta see, oh, it was on the guest network, so it wasn't him. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going through all of that.
Yeah, and that's a system that you're literally going to have to walk through and walk them through.
Right, and walk them through. So that's something that I always advise. Turn that shit right the fuck off. If you don't know how to do it, call up your ISP and say, hey, I want to disable this in my router. And they'll probably not gladly help you, but, you know, they should. And then lastly, on the home security bit, is you want to make sure that your router is up to date. It's got the latest firmware. And this is not only your router. This applies to any device that you use to access the internet. This applies to your smart devices, your laptops, your computers, your Windows, your Macs, your iPads, your phones. Make sure everything is on the latest firmware. Firmware or updates are not always about features, but there's a good bit of vulnerabilities that were discovered that's patched in these updates that you want. And that's oftentimes how in the corporate world, a lot of vulnerabilities come about and they get they get attacked and taken advantage of because someone patches something, and because an IT department is slow to implement that patch, they're vulnerable, and people are out there searching for people who are vulnerable to this particular patch. And then here we go. Right. So make sure all your devices, particularly your router and anything on your network, is updated. Does that kind of make sense?
Makes sense to me. I don't know how many people listening is like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I sincerely hope that, you know, everything we've said here, for the last 49, minutes has been, taken with more than a grain of salt, because these are real things. The government itself, FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, I don't recall if they said the CIA was, but this was they were breached just late December. I would say maybe 2 weeks before the year ended. And you know, more par for the course for 2020. However, this was a real thing. They were said to have been breached by the Russians. Again, I don't know how much stock I put in the government saying too much of anything, but they are saying that there were some catastrophic breaches,
and it's still the effects of it are still ongoing. They're still discovering,
still ongoing, like still finding where the breaches took place.
So Tawann is talking. Let me just lend some insight to that. Tawann's talking about the SolarWinds attack. Now,
yes, SolarWinds.
In the IT world, asset management is a very big deal. And what asset management is, how do you manage devices, laptops, computers, iPads, whatever, routers, switches? How do you need a snapshot of what's going on in your environment? And you manage devices because you need to protect them. You need to make sure the policies are on there. You need to make sure they're running healthy. SolarWinds is one such platform for management that was particularly popular in the government and big enterprise sector. Right. I think they're owned by Oracle. Now, how this works is you install a client on your laptop or your PC or whatever, right? And that client, once installed, has admin access to the entire computer, and it sort of reports back home information. So if you're running low on disk drive, your IT department knows. We need to look at upgrading that laptop. If you didn't get the latest Microsoft vulnerability patch, your IT department knows. We need to call this user, tell them turn on that laptop because it needs to get patched. If your router is having issues and you get IP conflicts and it's not working correctly, the IT department knows, and they can call the network guys, hey, look at this router. So this platform is very important to managing the landscape of the entire business, whatever that business was. What these dudes did is, I think it's called a supply chain attack. They hacked the SolarWinds themselves, or be it Oracle, and they took the EXE that you would install on every system, and they injected their malware into that EXE and then put it back up and didn't say anything to anyone. So everybody who's like, all right, we got all these new clients, boom, because there's all these different delivery methods that you can automatically have the client installed on a new computer. It's all very automated. So this piece of malware that they've injected have been installed on so many systems time and time again, so many companies time and time again. And they just waited to the right time to start having it phone home. Because how this works is when that software decides to phone home, there are measures in place that's going to capture that traffic and say, wait, what?
What's going on?
Who are you? Hell no. So they had to be patient and learn how to not raise alerts. So when they do phone home, no one notices. And it started to phone home and no one noticed. I forgot how they discovered it, but it was totally on accident. So now that this thing is out there, the entire industry is like, what the fuck? And of course, this is a selling point for Microsoft because this wasn't a Microsoft tool. Microsoft is kind of like, yeah, fam, you should have used Microsoft. You know what I mean? But Microsoft could have equally have been vulnerable here.
Right.
Right. So that's the overarching thing. They're still trying to figure out how deep it goes. Right. But it is an issue.
How long it's been. Yeah.
It is an issue.
It's a huge issue. It's like I said, it was par for the course for 2020, and it's just more of the same with relation to security and security. Listen, what we're trying to say here is you should be treating anything computer based like you treat your life. It should be secure. When you come home and you lock your doors, that is a security feature that's embedded in us from young. When you come home as a child, little Johnny, did you remember to lock the doors? Oh no, I forgot, Mom. I'll go and lock them now. So when you get up older, you remember, hey, listen, if I don't want someone walking up into my home or my apartment or my whatever, we lock that door. Now, there are other ways to get into your apartment other than the front door. that is why we take steps to cover those bases. And yes, even if someone gets in, there are steps in place that alert police and do.
Right.
When you think about it, just take 2 seconds to think about how we secure our home. It's the same thing with your computer. When you use do virus scans, or you do a malware scan, or when you set up just things on your computer that detect when there is a breach or what have you. And this is just your home computer, where I'm not going advanced with the corporate systems that are in play, just for your home computer.
Yep.
Take these steps to secure your life, because nowadays our computer is our life. Our cell phone is our life. Our cell phone and our computer go hand in hand. So where there's one you in your pocket all day, once you get home, you're on what? Your computer, and you're doing whatever you're doing on a computer. We spend and buy and put our credit card information smack dab on a computer. You know what that is equivalent to? Holding up your credit card to your front window and saying, all right, here's my credit card.
Shit.
People are walking by. They can't see your credit card, but all it takes is one person to get up close and, hey, what is that this person is showing in the window? Boom, got it. That is the same application that we should take when it comes to using our computers and being secure with our computers. So I guess this is our what do they call that? Our good deed of the day.
Good deed of the year, goddammit.
Of the year.
I have a few
top of the year.
I have a few more general tips and habits.
Go,
To
sir.
piggyback on what Tawann said, treat your online presence, your cybersecurity, no different than your real life. You know, treat it as your mental health. Treat it as your physical health. Well, there should be a security health, right? And no one wants to do push-ups, but it's for your dumb ass. If you want to live past 40, get down on the ground and do some push-ups, or stop eating the fucking junk food you're eating, right? It's annoying. It's not what you want to do, but you have to do it. And security is very much like that. Setting up getting that password manager and the initial setup is a pain in the ass, but you have to do it. It's for you. And the older you get, I don't care if you're 18, 25, 35, 45, 65, 75. Literally, this concept scales. The older you get, the more you have to lose.
Yeah.
You understand? And by being online, we are at risk. And you need to take that seriously. So, general habits that'll go a long way. Don't open email from random people. Trust me, it's spam. I don't care what. These people are very good at writing titles and shit. That'll clue you in. I've dealt with that in my profession for so many years. Motherfuckers will go on LinkedIn and see who's the account manager and email them, hey, invoice such and such hasn't been paid, and a link to some nefarious website. And what they do, they knew my name. Of course they knew your name, jackass. It's in your email. It's on LinkedIn, right? And then they click it, and then here we go. The whole goddamn company is vulnerable. Like, don't do that. Don't look at emails. You don't know the person. Don't even look at it. Delete it. Mark it as spam. The only reason for you to ever go in your spam inbox is if you're expecting an email. Right. If somebody says, I sent it to you, did you get it? You didn't get it? Check your spam. You're trying to reset a password. You didn't get that email? Check your spam. Other than that, there's no reason for you to be going into your spam inbox. We spoke about make sure all your devices are updated. Not a joke. Make sure you do that. When you're out and about, do not connect your phone to hotspots. Do not fucking do it. Do not connect to Target's Wi-Fi. Do not connect to Starbucks Wi-Fi. Do not connect to the neighbors next door Wi-Fi that's open. Do not do it. Anytime there's an open Wi-Fi network, that means that traffic that you are sending over the computer can and will be intercepted. Don't fucking do that. Like there's no world where you need, like, fam, if you're worried about hitting your data cap, I assure you that extra $5 that you would pay for going over your data cap on your cell phone is cheaper than the bullshit you'll deal with if you were hacked.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it. Don't give out your personal information on WhatsApp or iMessage or Facebook chat. Somebody texts you, hey, I need don't do that. Don't get got no Craigslist scam type shit. Make sure any chat applications you're using are at least encrypted. You know, Facebook's not the best, but they do have end-to-end encryption. You've got Signal that has end-to-end encryption, Telegram. Don't use random ass chats to do or conduct business. Don't do that. And my last thing is understand what your privacy is worth. This is a whole nother topic, but I want to drop this in here. Not really related to security, but just understand what your privacy is worth. Don't be in a hurry to sign up with things like Google and anything that's free. You need to understand that you are the product. And when you become the product, you just signed away your privacy. You better make sure whatever it is you signed up for is worth it, right? You can make that argument with Gmail. You don't pay for Gmail, but back in the day, you got almost damn near unlimited email. Was it worth it? Yes, but now Google knows everything about you. And they're selling whatever they know about you to the some odds of billions of dollars a quarter. Do you think you should be getting a cut of that? Maybe. Facebook follows you around the internet because they're tracking you. They want to know what you're interested in because they want to sell that to people. So maybe you should investigate using browsers that don't allow tracking, right? So there's all these different things to think about. Just know your worth. If you're not paying for it, then how are they paying for it?
Right.
You're the product. Think about that. So, I think that's it for me in the security.
I would just like to also just the one last tidbit. If someone calls you and it sounds like a robot, hang up the phone. Hang up the phone. If someone calls you and it sounds like a robot, just hang up the phone. If your caller ID picks up something that just seems odd, it's not a real number. It's not a number that you recognize. Don't answer it. Send it to voicemail. What have you?
Yeah, don't answer
and highly
those calls.
likely,
if they're not in your contact, don't answer it.
Yeah. When you send it to voicemail, 9 times out of 10, you won't get a voicemail from it. And the last thing, this man has Fendi headphones on. That's all I want to say is this man has Fendi Beats by Dre headphones on, and I wanted them and he refuses to come up off of them. That is all.
I'll trade you for some Travis Scotts. Every now and then you got to flex. I feel like I haven't flexed in such a long time. Every now and then I got to flex. But you can have them. You can have
for the sum of some Travis Scotts.
I'm not a Travis Scott fan, but I know you got some bread ones in there that you're not using.
Son, you can't even fit them, son.
It doesn't matter. It's not the point. It's not the point. But yes.
We'll talk about this off camera.
I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode of the year, although this won't be the first episode released in the year. But
absolutely.
Yeah. You guys know where to find us. We are on iHeartRadio now. We are on Spotify. Ooh. We are on Google, iTunes, wherever you download your podcast. We are there. We're also on YouTube. You can find all of these links at lifestylesdefined.com/podcast. I need to make a page with our various Instagram accounts because we have a lot.
Yes.
We have a lot, and we're trying to get the Discord thing popping. I guess I'll reveal it here to drum up some hype. What I want to do with the Discord, I want the Discord to be the live audience to the podcast.
Nice.
So we can cut to the audience. So you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? 2021.
It's a real, we doing live studio audience, not no synthetic applause.
Yep. But anyway, that's it for me. My name is Ramon.
That's it. It's your boy Tawann, aka The Kicks God.
We out of here, man. Peace.
Peace.